You've bought the new outfit, updated the CV and perhaps put a comb through your hair, but many don't know that your body language in a job interview can also make quite the impression.
So if you're looking for a fresh start to the new year or just want to send the right signals in the workplace, well, our body language expert Suzanne Masefield is here with her top tips. Suzanne, thanks so much for coming in. Nice to see you again. First impressions. Surely this is when you first go into a job interview or into a pay negotiation, your very first impression, what should you do?
Well, 70% of all future interactions are based on that first impression. And if you think about 55 to 90% of that first impression is your body language is really, really important. And that includes the clothes that you wear and things like that. But there is something that you can do. The most important thing is to come across confidently. So we have, at the Body Language Company, we have a little thing that we do called poise, but we have a power posture, which has just been discovered over the last 2 years that it increases testosterone levels by up to 20%. So that means it increases your level of confidence, your level of assertiveness by up to 20% just by standing in this posture for 2 minutes.
Right.
Wow.
Here's the golden secret.
It decreases cortisol, which is the stress hormone, by 25%.
So when you first go in, you should stand in a certain way?
No, you need to do it before you go in, because if you go in with this pose, which I'll show you, you're going to look aggressive. It's basically a power pose. So what happens often when people go into interviews or they're waiting outside, you know, they're sort of a little bit playing on the text or whatever they're doing, it's usually quite closed up. Now that's a low power pose, and what we want to do is expand that. So I'll show you how it is. So there's 5 of them, but this is one that you basically stand, as a lot of powerful people do, and you stand like this for 2 minutes.
So feet about shoulders width apart,
a little bit further, hands on hips. So if you think about somebody arrogant strutting around, that's what we're looking for. You're not taking this into the interview. Please don't do this because it'll backfire.
This is how Rawdon comes to work.
But 2 minutes, that's all it takes. Wow. And that will increase your testosterone level by 20% and decrease your stress levels by 25%. So it's really huge.
Other tips, I imagine, are the ones which we're probably more familiar with once you've gone into the interview, such as the eye contact, the firm handshake. What is it also about? Trying to mirror your interviewer, or is that just something which hopefully comes naturally?
It doesn't generally come naturally for people. I mean, mirroring, and that really does build rapport. But the poise process, which we do at the Body Language Company, is a really simple way to remember before you go in. P is for posture, upright posture. You can do your power pose before you go in. Open body language, use palms up, particularly if you're asking for the job. You know, I would really like to work with you. And even if you don't choose me to work with you, 2 embedded commands there with open gestures, I'd really like to tell you about the benefits of me working for your company. But you keep those gestures open.
Good idea, I like it.
Then the I is get in touch, do the power pose, take a breath, really important. Smile is the S, and try and make it a genuine smile because people really know when it's not genuine and it just sort of comes across asymmetrically. Yes, there's a few of those.
And the E?
What's the E?
And the E.
Energy.
What do you think?
Energy.
Energy.
Euphoria. Engage.
Eye contact.
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Most important. And actually, it's another one that people don't always do.
All right, so you're putting us to the test today now, and you've been watching us all week, in fact, or even from the very first week, which is a bit scary.
I do.
So you've got a clip to show us, I believe?
I think there's a couple of clips, and they're of day 1, when Tony first started. And it's really interesting to see the difference between day 1 and day 2, because obviously day 1 was huge for you, you know, just come back from having a baby and everything. And the body language really showed that containment, particularly in the upper body.
Let's have a look.
Dean, hiya, guys. Welcome to my couch and my new chair.
Your couch, eh?
Well, hello, guys. Although I have seen you already this morning.
Hi, lovely to see you, Rawdon.
Very crossroads was in your life to have forced you into changing the hair. Thank goodness for that. And I thought we
I'll show you what sort of face shape doesn't work. If you've got a round face shape, it does not work, trust me. I've had experience.
And suffice to say that so day 1, actually Tony has her arm very, very close, her right arm very, very close to her, with a distance between her and Nadine. So I don't know if they didn't know each other very well, but they hadn't got to know each other that well, I would say, at that point, because both heads are leaning away from each other and the legs were crossed. The next day, you had your feet on the floor. So we're starting to get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more moving out. Most of that time you were looking at Rawdon. So you related to Rawdon rather than Nadine, even when Nadine was talking, because you knew Rawdon.
Yep.
So it's a comfort thing. And Rawdon was sitting on the chair, and it was a bit like he was with his harem. He was quite out there with his leadership body language. It was wonderful.
He was doing the power pose.
Interesting point you wanted to make also. One of the clips there, the second day, showed Tony just touch her face, and you said that's what was an interesting piece of body language.
Well, you were talking about the fringes. From Michelle Obama's fringe. And when they talked about a photo of you and Nadine with your fringes, you actually put your little finger here and you looked up to the left.
Yes.
Right, left, looked up to the left, which is actually about creating. So you weren't remembering something, you were imagining what it could possibly look like, which was quite interesting.
That's very cool.
Interesting.
But any hand to mouth is, you know, if you think about what children do when they've been caught out, it's like, what's this going to be like? You know, it can be about a negative thought, but it's a lot of mental, emotional processing.
I was thinking of my permed fringe, so that was definitely negative.
There you go.
Hey, Suzanne, fantastic. Again, just a glimpse into what you do for a living. A fascinating, brilliant piece of advice if you're going into a job interview or you want to impress your new boss or something.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to know that, Tony, you've relaxed
And I've improved.
from day one to day two.
It is.
Fantastic.
We actually have a free body language report if people want that. On bodylanguageforresults.com.
Bodylanguageforresults.com. We'll put a link into our website as well for you. Suzanne, thank you so much for coming in.
Welcome.
We'll see you again.
Right, so that's it for us today. We will see you bright and early tomorrow. And don't forget, we've got our challenge. It's exciting.
Ooh.